Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome to astrology, ancient science in the modern world. The science of time, you know. This is show 899, 899 weeks I've served you now. I've got caught in Mercury retrograde here, and I had an old opener all set up with all kinds of neat visuals for you, and it turned out there were some bad plugs. Anyway, doing it all over again. The gist of what I'd prepared before was, I saw this thing on the History Channel that the Great Pyramids were built around 2500. In fact, they know the exact dates because they got the king's reigns down, and there were three, a grandfather, a father, and a son who built those three big pyramids, one family. So I was noticing that 2500 BC, well, that's just, that's the very end of the age of Taurus. Taurus fixed earth on all of those big pyramids and these big earthy stonework, these huge, the Mexico pyramid, a lot of stuff was these earth stone monuments that we're so amazed about. They were all made in the age of Taurus. Humanity had 2200 years to practice that. So this was the end of the age of Taurus, kind of the culmination of stonework, like the pyramids are. Anyway, I'm thinking now, gee, here we are in the age of Aquarius. That's clear. I pegged it for just a few years ago. The Mayans pegged it for 2012. But you can see all around you that we're flying around in the air. Aquarius is an air sign, fixed air. And we just came out of the age of Pisces. They run backwards, remember? Yes. So it's Taurus, and then Aries, then Pisces, and then Aquarius is where we are. Anyway, one of the reasons I'm thinking about all of this has to do with astrology, of course. The base science, which ran the world in the age of Aries, and had a lot of respect, like Ben Franklin said, shame to the age we live in. He blamed it on some of the experts, Whiston, and Newton, and Haley. And of course, Ben didn't know that Newton was a closet astrologer, and he was practicing alchemy. He poisoned himself a bit with mercury. They found his diary had 1 million words written on, they call it alchemy. It was astrology. I did some alchemy, astrology, 400 shows back, if you were watching. And did some lead tokens trying to, anyway. Upshot is, we're living in this age now that seems to have had put astrology to the burial. Not so. What did happen was, even though all of these new age scientists who went to school and they stopped teaching astrology, and a few of the astronomers said, oh no, it's nothing to it. They've even misinterpreted. Never mind. Upshot is, there's a bunch of guys that became so-called experts in the institutions that didn't support astrology. And then there were some astrologers that came along and bastardized it with sun sign astrology. I'm asked often how it was I got into it. I was a core scientist, was trained at Berkeley, doing our research chemical work in the research building at Pittsburgh, California, with 50 other research labs. I was really into this stuff. I wore a white coat. But my wife Beverly was very smart and had a good memory, and she got a hold of I figured it was heavens knows what or something, but it listed people's moon signs. Okay, we're discussing sun signs, which is crap. The sun is your father. You get your character from father figures. It's not you. You are your rising sign. Then there's the moon sign. The moon sign represents the mother. It has to do with your facial expressions and the way you relate emotionally. It doesn't talk, the moon brain, this big brain about the size of your fist. That's the telepathic one. Anyway, she was reading this book and she figured out the moon signs of a whole bunch of people we knew, and she said, oh, that's interesting that here Tom, Dick, and Harry all have Capricorn moons. And when she said their names, I could picture their faces, and I realized their faces were kind of old. Capricorn moon is old. Moon face, okay? You get your moon from little baby lies at the breast and looks up, and there's a big old round face, and the face goes cuckoo, and the baby goes cuckoo, and copies it. Copies the facial expressions, the body language, the sounds, the telepathic emotions. We call it personality. But you can draw a figure around your face, huh? And they'll be your mother's face. One of my adventures was I raised this dog, and the dog would look at me and make expressions, and it was my mother's face on that dog. I watched the grandmothers battle it out to get the first attention for newborns, because the newborns got to copy the face that's around them, huh? Most, yeah. So then she said, well, and we have 4 other friends who have moon in Gemini. Gemini is the sign of the kids, and she ticked off those friends, and whoa, realized they all had little kid faces. And I stopped and I said, maybe there's something to this business of astrology. Now, I had been led astray by sun sign crap all this time. Evangeline Adams and people writing books and newspaper columns about your sun sign. Well, if you want to know about your boss at work, you might check the sun sign a bit. But it's your character. It's how you go about doing things. It's not you. Your rising sign is you. If all of this foo-foo about astrology had been done with rising signs, then all of these half-assed psychologists and stuff that have done tests, and I got a BA in psych, would not have used sun sign and would not have had such bad results. They'd used rising signs. A few did and had wonderful results, but they were ignored. Sun sign astrology left us all astray, and it was done for money. Like Ben Franklin said, a few of the people gifted by Urania. I'm gifted by Urania. I can do numbers really fast. So, a few of them against their own conscience. And that applies to these astrologers. They led Woodstock. Woodstock generation, my generation, very wise, has the chart like Jesus and other wise men, and all these people born that relate to the Beatles and stuff. They're a different culture, the alternative culture they called us. But we saw the worth of astrology, and there's something to it, and took it up right away. But Woodstock was led astray too. A lot of Woodstock people, like myself, had already discarded astrology because all I got was sun sign crap. Excuse me. Anyway, some of us did learn it was rising sign. If you dug in a little deeper, Western society is kind of like that now. It doesn't have much roots. It's hard to dig into things. Anyway, 2,000 years to redo astrology and relearn it, and it's happening. And there are people who kept the knowledge and are trying to record it. I recorded all 899 of these shows. I'm not sure how I'm going to do with it, but I started off teaching really basic stuff, squares and trines. What are the earth? But I started every show with, what's your rising sign? Do you know your rising sign? I teach you how to figure it. You can figure it if you know even a rough time in your head. You don't have to calculate it. You just make a little clock in your head. Put the sun where it is on this clock, 6 noon, 6 p.m. and midnight. Wherever the sun was at the time you were born, you put the sun there, and you know the sun sign. You just count backwards to the rising sign, what was rising at the time. And chances are you're going to get it. If you don't, you check gold or silver. Air and fire signs wear gold. Earth and water signs wear silver. Just look at the person. As soon as you know the rising sign, you'll say, oh, wow, Frost is clearly a Taurus. Yeah, I was a wrestler in high school. Taurus, got little tiny feet. I'm lazy. Some of the time. Upshot is, once you know the rising sign, boy, you know that person so well, and it makes it much more amazing to get to know all these people around you. It's really fun. One of the problems with this refiring of astrology in Western culture, though, that it was directed at knowing people. Wait till astrological compatibility really hits, the good stuff. You know, upshot is, it's not just all about people. That's why I say you should get the app, the $5 app, Sky Mirror Astrology, on your smartphones, and start looking around at things, because everything is involved with astrology. Everything. You know, if all the cats start gathering for they all come in, you know, I wonder what's going on. They're all hungry. I'm a little hungry. I go look at there's the moon, right on the angle, and Mother's saying, time to feed yourself. The fishermen watch for the moon setting because it's on the angle and fish bite. Or moon rise. When the moon's on all four angles, we all get a little hungry. Well, so you don't have to learn astrology by looking at people. People are very deceptive anyway. Rising sign, you see the physical image. Once you realize how much Gemini rising, Fred Astaire looks like Laurel. They're both Gemini risings. If you see the resemblance between Fred Astaire and Laurel of Laurel and Hardy, it's Gemini. Well, anyway, it's tough getting astrology rekindled. Tough to get the fire going again. Rising sign is one key. If you're going to do people, you know, but people, there's so much more on this earth besides the soap opera of people's comings and goings, and you can get mired in people kind of too easily. There's a lot here. When did the fish bite? When should you plant? Why are all these birds squawking right now? So the little stuff around you can look at and analyze with that app. You got to be able to know what the chart is of things happening. I've been after mosquitoes for years. Men bite me. Oh, it's terrible. I went, what the hell is that? Well, I thought they're Pluto, huh? Like fleas and stuff. But what's the itch? Still, nobody's ever, as far as I know, told me what the itch on your body is. Planet is doing that. I'll tell you one thing. Mosquitoes bite you symmetrically. If you get a bite here, you're going to get a bite there. Yeah, they bite you at all the places you'd be, if you were a puppet, you'd be dangling on strings, and they bite symmetrically. They also bite. The deepest thought about mosquitoes was, if you have a bad thought, an evil thought, bang, the mosquito comes and bites you. And maybe it just, the bad thought appears on your skin, and the mosquito has to come and take it away and give you a little acupuncture. I don't know. But every time you get a mosquito bite, if you look at when you first felt the bite, there'll be a bad thought. I don't like that lady. Blah, blah, blah. Bang, mosquito bite you. If your thoughts are nice and, you know, medium and pure and good, and you're being a good little boy or a good little girl, mosquitoes don't bite you. That's weird, huh? Well, I think one of the lessons of trying to be more enlightened in this world is to look at the little stuff around you. Look at your app. Like Rinpoche told me, look inside, outside, look at the chart. Look inside, look outside, look at the chart. Much easier to study astrology that way than get all involved in so-and-so's personality. Anyway, enough. Let's go do the Sky Mirror. And we're going to do the last week in February. Year 2014. Shame to the age we live in. Wait till the fire starts, though. You know, now you've got a little thing on your phone. You can have a chart right there in your hand, the push of a button. The Sky Mirror Astrology app. Oh, how can it get any better? All the fire is all set now. All you got to do is light a match and start looking at things that interest you. And then look at the chart. All right, let's Sky mirror, come on.
Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And many times you have purpose on together. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together.
Here's a bunch of odd information. Now look, the time when you want to study and get the vibes of a planet is when it stops. Now Mercury's going to stop and go forward on the 28th at 4:01 a.m. in the morning. When you wake up, there you'll be. Check it out. See what the words in your world are like. Mars now stops in the sky and goes backwards on the 2nd. And ask yourself what you're protecting. Saturn also stops in the sky, goes backward on the 2nd. See, they're not really going backwards. It's the Earth coming around this way, and it makes them look like they're going backwards. They're not going backwards. Anyway, when they come to this stationary place, whether they're going forward or backward, that's when you'll get the vibes. You'll understand Saturn more. It'll get cold. Yeah. Jupiter now, the great benefic, jovial Jupiter, stations on the 6th. And it's early, just after midnight, 0:43 a.m. Anyway, these are important because if you're studying them during this time for, a day or day after, just the vibes, just so Jupiter, everybody will be laughing even though they don't mean to. All right, let's look and see what it looks like. I got a chart for you. And you can see I've blown up Mars a bit, and when he stops you can tend to be a little harsh. And Saturn likewise, these are known as the lesser malefic and the greater malefic in ancient times. And so this is always about money and screw people. Here's bankers, here's soldiers, right? Okay, the other guy down here that's very strong is Jupiter. Here's lawyer professors, here's people. They put people first. They got the crescent of people above the cross of matter. So these are the three players on the stage right now. Of course, Mercury's going to be kind of strong, the messenger too. The sun's in Pisces. You're in a few days for you, the sun will be on Neptune, and we're all going to be thinking Neptune. Priest, artist, doctor, musician. You'll see colors better. You'll hear music better. You'll have sensitivity, more compassion. This is what the age of Pisces developed, hopefully, with religion and music and art and wonderful stuff. So this is all about your higher heart. And as the sun goes to Neptune, which starts, let's see, there's Friday and Saturday. Starts Monday, the sun will be right smack on them. Of course, you're already within orb. As soon as the sun went into Pisces, which was, a couple days ago for you, you started feeling these vibes. Neptune's very nice. Some people will want to hide or get confused or get lost. In that case, there's always alcohol. All right, what do we got here? We're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern, and as we do, it makes angles to these other players on the stage and gives you kind of a mood of the times. If you're on Thursday morning, you're laughing. There's a trine to Jupiter. Friday, well, here's a nice trine to a sextile to Venus and a trine to Mercury. And Friday morning, there's sweets and love, and the kids are all affectionate, and the cat will come and lick your hand, and it's all great until you get past noon, and then you're going to hit the Saturn zone. It could be cold, it could be ice. I don't have enough, I'm not on time, and this is depressing. Even though Saturn has Mercury working with him and Venus to try to, oh, don't worry, you don't have to go there, and you got ice cream in the fridge. You're still not so happy. And your Friday, you're going to get practical and sober. That's a good idea, too, because as you go to Saturday, the 22nd, the moon shifts into Sagittarius. It's a fire sign. It's no longer in the Scorpio water sign, and as soon as it does, it squares the sun and it squares Neptune. And Saturday morning, you'll feel queasy, you'll feel lost. There's problems with liquids. Oh boy, did I drink yesterday? Hope not. Anyway, try to do as little as possible Saturday morning, and you won't get into the mire of the liquids and the confusions. Here Saturday night, moon trines Uranus, and we had a good new moon, so here's enlightenment of the Aquarian age. Yes, this is good stuff here. And think a little bit about that. Why is... No, never mind. It'll just come to... Yeah? Think about getting the app. Of course, Mercury's still retrograde, huh? I wouldn't get it yet. On Sunday, the moon's still in Sagittarius, and there's confusion about communication and transportation between breakfast and lunch. There's a square to Mercury, and we're not getting it done. We're not talking and we're not walking right. It's all difficult. However, Sunday night, we get inspired by Mars. And Mars says, hey, come on, go fix that stuff. Get your hammer and get your saw and be a hero. And the hero out. This is going to be a heroic time on Sunday night. Must be Olympics time something too, huh? Anyway, feels pretty good. You get in action a little bit, warm up your muscles. On Monday the 24th, the moon moves into Capricorn, and here's the trine to Neptune and the sun, and there's spirituality and religion and art and music. And Jesus wasn't the only one that had a wonderful chart, like John the Baptist, and there were other avatar type people around that born in his time that had a chart like his. It isn't just Woodstock, wasn't just Bob Dylan and the Beatles. There was a whole bunch of people born had enlightenment in their charts, huh? Well, here we are with Mercury trouble on Monday night, and we're in the zone of Pluto, so we're going to have an opposition to Jupiter, and that's going to be around dinner time or after dinner time. Don't do too much, and then a square to Uranus, glitches, electricity out, and then a feeling of panic and a lack of control, which will pop up about 1 or 2 in the morning, Tuesday the 25th. So here's the moon going by that nasty T-square, that Pluto-Jupiter-Uranus T-square, and there's glitches all around. Boy, did I have trouble with connections. Tap the connections, twist the connectors when Uranus is acting up. Well, Monday night, don't expect things to be normal. It'll go through Tuesday morning, but by the time you get to Tuesday afternoon, Venus zone, and there's a sextile to Saturn, and I got all organized. I have enough money and enough time, and boy, there's some sweets. I can relax. Here's some love. Here's some goodies. Here's some pretty girls. It's Tuesday night, the 25th of February. Enjoy. Now, it's not real sexy. It feels like it is, but it's a square to Mars here about 9, 10, 11 o'clock. It's too fast, too hard, too much. No. So it's pleasure, not action. There's a Mars-Venus square going on here, and the romance is not real good. Even though you're in the pleasure zone Tuesday night, on Wednesday when you wake up in the morning, the moon will be in Aquarius. You'll still feel the Mars tinge a little bit with a little anger and impatience. But as the day goes on in Aquarius, you'll hit that new moon point, and that's late in the evening, Wednesday the 26th, sextiles Uranus, and there's more enlightenment about the new age here in the new world, and we got yes, the age of Pisces just tore astrology down. Neptune doesn't like Uranus. Neptune is Pisces, Uranus is Aquarius. And, you know, the age of Pisces, they did everything they could to bury astrology. Burn the witch! Anyway, we're more free now. Speak up. Thursday feels pretty good with the moon in Aquarius till you get to Thursday night, and then there's a square Saturn. And it's icy and it's cold and everything is slow, and, you know, so Thursday night, not good to go out. There's a pleasure trip, or there's a trine to Mars here, so there is a need to get out and fix things and get things done, probably because of all the freezing and stuff that's going on. At any rate, Friday the 28th, you're in the new moon zone. It's on Neptune, and first comes Neptune in the middle of the day, and then comes the new moon, and be with somebody you love. And there's Jupiter trine here, so there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of love, a lot of higher heart going on. Late Friday night, there's a sextile to Pluto. You got power and control. Feels good all the way through Saturday. And in fact, on Saturday evening, we got Saturn power. Oh yeah, we're all organized, and Venus is smiling at us. It's a good time for a party, huh? Not Sunday. Sunday, the moon shifted into Aries. You're in the explosive zone. Sunday night, the moon goes by Uranus, squares Pluto, squares Jupiter. We got glitch land again on March 2nd, Sunday night. It's hitting you up here on Monday night, huh? Moved back to Sunday night here. Anyway, that's the way it is. Shame to the age we live in. It's going to get better. Here's my notes for the show. I missed King Kamehameha's chart. Have to do that next time. But mosquitoes, if you want to get into this enlightenment business, investigate the smallest things around you. Take nothing for granted. You know, there's treasure there all around you. And here's the 3 pyramids were built at 2500 at the end of the age of Pisces, or age of Taurus, huh? Lovely thing. All right, don't forget now that if you missed the show on your island, Olelo in Honolulu does a live stream broadcast Thursday night, 8:30, Friday morning, 8 a.m. You can get the show on the internet there. Now, the website frack.com, I'm afraid, is going to be falling down. The guy took off to, bless his heart, I hope he has fun in Tahiti. But you can't count on that. So you got to go here, skymirrorastrology.com. That's also the website for the app. A good way to start your studies, huh? Thanks for watching. Come back next week. Aloha.